understand our pockets weren't unlimited when we did this. So even though it's not, we're looking at it, I'm looking at the ones that are over, and we're really not just talking about principals, we're talking about assistant principals, other people, that anybody gets this additional supplement. If we could look at putting a 20% of gross cap on it, unless Mr. Brady brought it back to it, Mr. Johnson brought it back to us, as a board, to understand this person, why they're so perfect for that position. Even I understand some performance initiative that might be in there. I ain't got any problem with that. But the problem is these people got to go to work tomorrow, and we're going to have to do something. I don't necessarily want to continue, if it's wrong, I don't want to continue wrong for 4 more years till these people come back again. You know, but it's, I also don't want to, you know, I'm searching for to correct this. And I want Brady to have the initiative to find the best people for these positions, and we don't need to tie his hands. But we got to give somewhere in there, it's got to be a limit that kind of gives us at least a ballpark to work with before we can adopt some other options that works for the system and for us. It's got to be what's best for these kids and what's best for the public is what we got to work on. And this is a bad perception. It's just a bad perception out there, because I do hear a lot about this from the public. So I hesitate to make anything in the form of a motion, because I don't want to tie your hands, because I think y'all have the ability to get the best people for the job. But the other side is we got the public telling us to spend this money responsibly, and we're underfunded. As we've said, we all agree with the statement Dr. Cash gave. So it's that's kind of where we are right now. I'm kind of open to suggestions.
It's tough when you're talking about giving administrators 20%, possible 20% raise, which is down from 30% that we have here on this sheet. When our poor teachers had 2% taken away from their local supplement, and that's never been restored. And I'm telling you, the teacher is the most important thing in the school system. That's where it happens at, the teacher assistant. It just breaks my heart to tell our teachers we don't have the money to give you 2%, and to tell our classified staff, well, we're going to try to help you out. We're going to try to get you $500. But we're talking about giving 14 principals $150,000 additional money.
And just a point of clarification, when I meant they would have negotiation ability up to 20%. That doesn't mean there's a lot of these that are not asking for that. I'm just trying to give the latitude to the system to find the proper people for the proper job. So I think somehow in here we've got to continue business, but we've got to get it back to where the public understands how we're funding people and why their qualifications of where they are and what we're trying to do.
And I would also like to make the comment too that something that was said earlier, you know, it is important to pay our teachers, and I agree with that. You can have the best teachers in the world working in a school system, but if you do not have an organized leader to point those great teachers in the right direction, you're going to have, you know, an off performance in that school, no matter how, you know, no matter what you do. You have to have great leadership. My personal view on this is I think we're trying to micromanage our administration. You know, if you want to go back and put some guidelines in, I say we make the motion to accept these contracts as they are. If you want to go back and look at some guidelines maybe for future administrators, you know, that maybe we can try and fall into these categories for our administrators, for our teachers, if they have to go above, you know, what Mr. James said, 20%, let's bring it to the board if you want to. I personally think we're trying to micromanage, but, you know, I am one of 7. So I will go with what the board pleases.
Well, let me mention here too, and I know it sounds historical or hysterical, whichever one you want to go with, but if you looked at this number 8 years ago, you'd be absolutely horrified. If you looked at the total salary columns of our administrators 8 years ago and the additionals 8 years ago, you'd go out of your ever-loving mind, okay? Because at that time, we were paying people way beyond what it is that anybody in the country would have paid them. And it happened that way. Now, since then, that has gotten back in line a whole lot more than it was at that time. Now, if you're just now coming onto the board, that history was not there. And I can't fill it in 30 seconds. But I can say that that history was there, and it was a bad history, and that has been modified and has been corrected tremendously since that point. And again, like Ms. Bonham just said, I don't ever want to micromanage. I don't want to get into contract negotiations. That's not my job as a board member. Now, I also do not want to tie the hands of the superintendent where he has to negotiate with people for the contracts that they have. Now, some do, some don't, some do it better, some do it worse, some do it in the middle, some do it late, some do it early, whatever. That's not what I think we should be doing. That's what he does. And he does that with all the knowledge that he has about that particular individual. And to me, if he says, yeah, he might be off on a little few of these numbers, but at the same time, if we try to adhere to a certain scale, we're going to lose in the long run because he has to be able to negotiate. He has to be able to sit down. These are all, and see, that's what we're doing here. When you look at that list, you're looking at the whole list. These are all individuals. All these individuals come in individually, one at a time, and the negotiations have to occur. So I don't want to tie the hands of our administrator, our superintendent, to work with this. And like she says, okay, all right, these people are already working, and these people are working at the salary that we have stated here. Accept that at this time, set up guidelines for whatever you want to do. We'll talk about that forever between now and the next time they come around. We seem to be big on contracts. By the time they come around next time, set the parameters or whatever. But watch out for micromanagement and watch out for tying the hands of your superintendent.
I believe a motion is on the floor.
Did you make a
Never
motion?
got a
Make
second.
the motion
What was your motion?
to accept these contracts as they are written.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I got one last discussion, just to make sure y'all understood what I meant. I meant Brady has the ability to negotiate up to 20% over that contract without, it comes straight to us in the board, and we don't see, we're not part of that. He would only come to the board if he needs over 20%. So to
But
make sure that's what was said.
that's not part of the motion, though,
That's
correct?
not part of the
No,
motion, I'm just
yeah.
clarifying your
Yeah.
point that you were
Right, I
speaking.
understand what you're saying. In
And
other
we-
words, in the future discussion, that's going to be a part of the discussion that we might have to set those things. But at this time, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
And 20% may be the amount we use, 30%, 10% may be the amount we use.
That's correct,
We
that's
don't
true.
know.
Whatever.
Any other discussion? Paige, do you have any other points for discussion?
No, I just was, my only question, we're going to vote on everything in one time, is that correct?
Actually, there would be two actions.
Okay.
There would be a vote for the administrative appointments
Okay.
that you had as part of the personnel report that we took out. And then the second vote that would be needed would be for the contracts.
So what is your motion?
You want to clarify?
The contracts one is the
Okay,
one on the
voted.
floor.
We
Not-
can do
the
we can
motion's
do
the
these
contract.
separately if you like. We can do the contracts. I will make the motion for the contracts. And then someone else can make the motion for the administrative appointments.
Okay, so your motion, just to clarify for the board, your motion was for item D under the non-consent agenda, approval of a licensed administrative contracts.
That's correct.
And that's the motion that was seconded by Mr. Kelly. So if no other discussion then on that, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
So the motion is 4-3, or the vote is 4-3 in favor of the motion.
I'll make a motion to have the approval of the administrative appointments, though.
Second?
Okay, that's item E under personnel for those, under the consent agenda that we removed for closed session earlier. So we have a motion and a second to approve the administrative appointments. Any further discussion on that? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hussain. I guess now we move to superintendent's comments. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Dr. Cash, members of the board. You know, last month, we talked a little bit about Jamie Ballmer's book, Schools Can't Do It Alone. And just want to remind everybody that I'm trying to practice what we read in that book. And he talked about the 5 S's that we can all do, and this will not cost any money, and it will automatically improve the performance of your district and the perception of the district. Those 5 S's is shift your attention to the positive, stop bad-mouthing each other in public, share something positive about your school within your realm of influence, sustain that effort until it becomes a habit, and start now. So I'm gonna take a minute and share some of the positive things going on in my realm of influence. This year, we got our 10th day report today on enrollment, and we are 20,988 students. That's 12 students away from our projected enrollment. So I'm really tickled that we met our projected enrollment goal, and we'll probably exceed that goal in the days ahead. Another very positive thing that's going on in my world right now is in the realm of personnel. And I will qualify that by simply saying that this has been the toughest recruitment year that we've ever had, that I can remember in my career. We made a prediction about 18 months ago that the direction North Carolina was heading in, we was probably going to have a teacher shortage. But you know, the silver lining in that teacher shortage is the principals have told me that they have found some candidates that normally would not have surfaced. They're finding young people that are graduating from college that didn't necessarily think they would be a teacher when they went into college. And now they are considering this, and they're using the lateral entry process to come into our profession. Another thing that's kind of a silver lining in our tough personnel market that we're in is we're finding some retired people, people from the private sector that have had a career in industry. And now all of a sudden they think, well, gosh, I've heard you're needing a teacher, and I might be willing to give that a try. Now, that's going to have a negative impact on our highly qualified status when those numbers come out. But I'm very proud of the fact that these principals have really done a good job of beating the bushes and finding non-traditional candidates to put into some of our toughest positions. Another very positive piece of news is our graduation rate. Last Thursday, the state board approved those numbers, and I'm very happy to report to you that the graduation rate of the Iredell-Statesville schools is 89.3% for last year. To put that number in perspective, 5 years ago, we were at 82.7, and 10 years ago, we were at 61% graduation rate. So that is phenomenal growth, and everybody in this school system should get a pat on the back for making that number increase to that level. We don't have our dropout data, but we're projecting that it might be 1.3%. And to put that number in perspective, in 2013 it was 1.9%, and 10 years ago the dropout rate in this district was 6.5%. So there are a heck of a lot of kids that are staying in school and getting their high school diploma, and that's a huge celebration. Another celebration that I ran across just today was the I Academy has 52 students enrolled, and they have doubled their enrollment in 1 year. So that's a huge celebration for us. And as a reminder, those are non-traditional students. Those are students that are returning to us from home schools or private schools, and they're doing that blended schedule down there at the I Academy. School tools, Susie's already filled us in on this. I asked her today, give me some kind of range, Susie, so I can share with the board on how well did we do with our school tools drive this year. And she said, it's about 30,000 pounds of supplies. And she said, just go over to ADR and look, and you won't believe what you'll see over there that's going to be distributed to our schools. And we had some really outstanding partners. We recognized a couple of them tonight, but the others that could have been recognized were Statesville Auto Auction and Kewanee Scientific, J.C. Penney's, Chick-fil-A, and there were a lot of individuals that contributed to our School Tools campaign this year. The United Way also deserves a pat on the back because they orchestrate all of this and truly do a remarkable job of engaging the community. United Way is also sponsoring a Drive to End Hunger, and that's taking place now at all of our 5 traditional high schools at their home football games. I want to give a little shout out too to our School Operations Division. The School Operations Division of the school system is truly the behind the scenes guys that make all of this happen and create that magic moment when a teacher and a student gets to interact with each other. But the maintenance department is truly amazing. They maintain 4 million square feet of space. Think about that number, 4 million square feet of space. And they maintain over 1,350 acres of grounds that have to be mowed each week. And you can ask any principal in our district, and they will give accolades to the maintenance department. Another big shout out goes to pupil assignment. There's one lady that works for Mr. Armstrong, Joy Doherty. This summer she processed 804 out-of-district applications. And she's doing a job that used to be done by 2 people. And she also has lots of responsibilities other than pupil assignment. Pupil assignment is just one of the many jobs that she does. The transportation department deserves a shout out too. They transport about 13,000 students every day, and they transport those students approximately 12,500 miles. Now that means that those buses are going around the earth at the equator about every 2 days. And the safety record is just remarkable for those folks. Another big shout out is child nutrition, and I didn't get numbers for them today, but I'll get that for you sometime and share it with you. Thousands and thousands of meals prepared. It's the largest food service business in Iredell County, and those ladies do a remarkable job for us. I want to take just a minute and mention our impact grant that's going on right now, and so far this school year we have already rolled out the MacBook Airs at East Middle, Northview, and Mount Moore. Last week we did Brawley Middle. We did our first high school, North Iredell High School. We did Monticello and Presley. This week we are tackling Lakeshore Middle, South Iredell High School, and Troutman Middle. So if you're out and about one night the rest of this week, I would encourage you to drop in and watch those rollouts. It's truly amazing to watch the really tight processes in place to make that flow smoothly. I got a letter this week from a student at the Visual and Performing Arts Center, and here's what she had to say. It says, "Dear Mr. Johnson, on behalf of the entire student body here at the Visual and Performing Arts Center, I'd like to sincerely thank you for granting our school MacBook laptops. This opportunity will provide us with a new way to learn and a new way to be organized. This will be a big step for everybody here. Getting these laptops will make assignments easier to access and easier to complete. Thank you and the board for giving us a chance to prove how responsible we can be as a school. We will look after our devices and take care of them and make sure that this money and opportunity is not wasted." And that's Rosalind Howell, a student at the Visual and Performing Arts Center. Already tonight you heard from Frank Rader, but I do want to give you just a real brief update on the MIM organization. They have raised quite a bit of money, and they have a lot of parents and community members that are standing ready now to help us promote the bond referendum. I hope by the end of the week to give you an update in your Friday update about the contribution from the Statesville community towards that group financially. So we do thank them, and we certainly want to work with them to make sure that the public is aware of our bond referendum and to make sure that we're giving good, accurate information so that citizens can make a good decision. Today, Ms. Bonham and I had a meeting with the John Locke Foundation. And John Locke came to Iredell County today to visit with Iredell-Statesville Schools and the Morrisville Graded School System. And according to the John Locke Foundation, these two school systems are being recognized for their high performance and their wise use of tax dollars. And to use their terminology, the Iredell-Statesville Schools and the Morrisville Graded School System are giving the taxpayers a phenomenal return on their investment. And so we are very humbled by that recognition. We look forward to working with the John Locke Foundation to share with them some of our strategies and innovations that help us give our taxpayers a good return on their investment. Earlier tonight, you heard a parent reference the 7 project, and if you'll remember, a couple months ago, you approved that project here in our school system. And so today, North Iredell Middle School and North Iredell High School had their event. Later this week, West Iredell Middle School and West Iredell High School will hold their event on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we will be working with the students at Statesville Middle, East Middle, and Statesville High School. That is a really unique partnership with our faith-based community. And I am extremely proud to say that I work for a school system that does embrace community partners. And we can work with folks from all over our community. Here's a couple dates to add to your calendar and at least save these dates. October the 3rd, we will be holding our 2nd annual Ignite Summit at Statesville High School. This is an anti-bullying initiative that was started last year by one of our students, and it has grown now. This year, we're working with our mayors of our municipalities here in Iredell County to raise awareness about the issue of bullying in the schools, and also to equip our students with strategies and tools that they can take back to their campuses and help make bullying an issue that is addressed appropriately in our school system. We're also planning October 22nd, an Innovation Day. And we'll be inviting in some folks from around the state to be in our school district that day. We'll be sharing lots of innovations that are taking place out in the schools. We will reach out to our principals and give each school an opportunity to decide if they want to participate and what they would like to showcase that day. So we hope that that's going to be a really exciting day across our community, and we will be inviting our county commissioners and other elected officials to come in and see some of those innovations as well. October the 29th, we have invited Statesville Regional Development, the Committee of 100, to be our guest at the Career Academy in Troutman. If they accept that invitation, and I believe they will, what we hope to do that day is to showcase our CTE program and to give those folks a snapshot of what the apprenticeship program looks like in the Iredell-Statesville schools. The other bit of good news, and I don't know if we'll be able to pull this off tonight or not, but each year we encourage all of our teachers to work with their kids, and the first couple of days of school write a mission statement for your class for the year. And so I received a video a few days ago from one class at NB Mills Elementary School. This is Mrs. Dearman and her students. And are we going to be able to show that? No? Okay. Sorry, we won't be able to show you that. I'll send it to you electronically and you can watch it some other time. But Ms. Dearman and her students, I promise you, really got into writing a mission statement for their work this school year. The only other thing that I would like to share tonight is we do have our new CTE director, Career and Technical Education Director, with us. And so let's all give him a good look over while I read his resume for you. I don't think he's a stranger to most of us. This is Todd Williams, and Todd is a longtime resident of Iredell County. Todd graduated And I was interested in the fact that when he was a high school student, he took his studies very seriously and actually completed some college credits before he graduated from high school. But he went on down to NC State and graduated from State in '89 with a Bachelor of Science degree, and then furthered his education again at NC State, finishing his master's degree in 2001. Todd has been a farm manager and a co-owner of a dairy operation, and presently Olin Turf Farm. He has also worked as an agricultural extension agent in North Carolina, a high school agriculture teacher, and a career development coordinator for the Iredell-Statesville schools from 2002 to 2006. His current assignment is in Wilkes County, where he is the Director of Career and Technical Education there. He has the responsibilities for supervising 48 employees up there and the physical management of the CTE funds for that district. He has worked very closely during his tenure there with Wilkes Community College and on articulation agreements, career and college promise opportunities, grant writing, and professional development. He also helped form the Business and Industry Education Forum for Wilkes County that serves grades 6 through 14. Todd is married to Natalie Williams, who is an instructional facilitator for the Iredell-Statesville schools, and they have a daughter, Leah, who attends the Iredell-Statesville schools. So please join me in welcoming Todd Williams as our new Director of Career and Technical Education.
Mr. Chairman, can I say one quick thing? I just wanted to thank Dr. Lassane and her group. What a few months you've had and your staff, and then we've thrown some more stuff on you. I just would like to really compliment her and all her employees for a job well done. Thank you for what you've done. Also, in the good news, I have visited 24 schools since school started, and I am just amazed at what goes on in our schools. And someone said, well, how'd you like all of them? And I said, there's not a school I visited I wouldn't put my child in. And I don't think a parent could make any greater statement than that. But it's been a eye-opening experience to visit our schools at work, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Thank you. Just to announce other dates upcoming that are on your program tonight. September 26th will be a teacher work day. October 6th will be the next committee of the whole meeting here at 5 p.m. We're not here, but at the ADR Education Center. October 13th, the Board of Education meeting here at 6 p.m. at the Iredell County Government Center. And that ends our agenda for the meeting.
A couple more dates that's relevant to us. Been invited, the board has, Mr. Rogers invited us down on this coming Wednesday instead of, if everybody knows, of course, Thursday's 9/11. But on this Wednesday, September 10th at 9 o'clock at Katz, they're doing a ceremony because the speaker was at 9/11 and he has to be gone 9/11. So they're going to do their program this Wednesday, the 10th, if anybody wants to come at 9 o'clock at Katz. And also our district meeting you didn't have is the 20. We have a district. Right, we have a district meeting 24th, I believe, September. Is that correct, Ray? Okay. And we were talking a while ago. Max has on his Harley Davidson outfit. My sister Beth Davidson, in case you don't know, is real tight with the Tilley family. And so when this happened actually Friday night, I got a call, and she called me, and I immediately called Rob, and of course it was a weekend, and everybody gone, and Garrett Rose also, and they put this thing together quickly. The family is still in very disarray on a lot of things. Nobody's in their family has lost. They've got their whole family. Don was a patriarch of that family. He's a great person in this community. I've known him for a long time, and so yesterday was a really tribute to Don, and I appreciate the school board and everyone on our staff that did what they did to put this thing together. We'll have great accolades, and we can't go, but that whole system and that whole family are public school, and they all went to public school. And Don was in the class of 54. Matter of fact, I was a mascot in 54 when he was in that class. And So very pleasing to have them at senior high school. Everybody was there. I mean, we had some heavy hitters here. Mike Helton, the head of NASCAR, the Pettys, Richard and Kyle, the Allison family. And so we had some really heavy hitters at that, and they all praised what we did. We opened up everything in the high school, and so over 3,000 people attended, probably 2,300 motorcycles, and so it went off without a hitch. I can't believe it went in so quickly and so put together, but our school system is to be patted on the back for what we did, everybody from top to bottom. So just want to tell you all that. Thank you.
Any other comments, board members? If not, entertain a motion for adjournment.
I
So
move we
moved, Mr.
adjourn.
Chairman.
I second.
Okay. Have a motion, second, all in favor? Thank you, Ken.